let's go make some videos. Hey, hey, let's go make some videos. So my kids dared me to play that for you all, so I figured why not? So today we're going to be looking at section 7.4, which is solving logarithmic equations and inequalities. So we really have to make sure we understand logs really well. So if we look at example 1, we're going to rewrite this. So this will be 36 to the 3 over 2 power equals x. So again, what to the 3/2 power is x. Let's change 36 so that it is 6 to the 2nd power. So we have 6 to the 2nd and then raised to the 3/2 power. Well, what happens with that square and the 3 over 2? It's actually going to become 6 to the 3rd is equal to x. So x here is actually 216. Let's try number 2. So this one says 5 to the -3rd power is equal to x. So I'm going to rewrite that as 1 over 5 to the 3rd because that is a negative exponent. And then I'm just going to do 5 to the 3rd power, which is 1 over 125. So pause the video and try 3 on your own. So for 3, we have x now to the 7th power is 128. So you really want to think about, hey, what to the 7th power is 128? And I put it in red here, the answer is 2. So x is equal to 2 for problem 3. So I will do one more with you and then I'm going to have you try 5 and 6 on your own. So problem 3, we're going to say 3 to the x power is equal to 1 over 81. So since we have a fraction, we're going to be writing that with our negative exponent with a base of 3. So 3 to the x power is equal to 81 is 3 to the 4th power. So 1 over 81 would be 3 to the -4th power. So you'll notice that we have the same base. One has the exponent of x, the other one has -4. So our exponent here is a -4 for problem 4. So pause the video and try those next 2 on your own. So for 5, I have x is equal to 5/3. I had to rewrite 32 as 2 to the 5th and then write that equation to solve. And for number 6, I have x to the 4th equals 81. Seeing that I had x as my base, I wanted to figure out what to the 4th power. So I have 3 to the 4th power. So x is equal to 3. Now the next 4 problems, we're going to be solving log functions. So I'm going to show you how to set them up, and then once they're set up, I'm going to have you finish solving them on your own. This first problem here, though, I want you to notice we have the same base. So it's log base b of 2x equals log base b of 16. So if we have the same base, what we're just going to do is we're going to set that 2x equal to 16 to solve. So 2x equals 16. Okay, and again, you can go back and solve that one after. For number 2, we have the same base again. So we're going to say x is equal to 3x plus 6. And then we will solve for x. The next one, we have x squared equal to x plus 12. Notice since we have a square, we're going to have a quadratic. Just a reminder, you have to bring all your terms to one side before you factor and solve that. And then the last one, again, we're going to have that same base there. So we have x squared minus 15 equals 2x. Bring everything to one side, factor and solve. So pause the video, go ahead and solve each of these problems here for x, and then we're going to talk about your answers. All right, so hopefully we have, for 1, x is 8, 2, x is -3, 3, we have 2 answers, 4 and -3, and for 4 we get 5 and -3 again. So now, why do I have a graph here? Well, the reason why I have a graph here is I just want to remind you, when we have logarithms, our domain has to be greater than 0. So we want to look back at our answers and check, if I put 8 in here for x, is my domain still going to be greater than 0? If it is, great, that is my solution. But if it's not, then that value for x does not work. So for number 1, if I put 8 in, that does work. So this answer is set. X is 8. Look what happens if I put the -3 here. That will be a domain restriction. So x equals -3 will not work. So that would be the empty set. Try 3 and 4. See if both of the answers work. They might both work. Maybe one of them works, or maybe like number 2, we actually do not have a solution for our value. So for number 3, my answers both work. 4 and -3, I don't have any domain restrictions, so I'm good with both of those. But for 4, and I'll finish it up here, when I plug in the value x is 5, that is good. But when x is -3, I do not have a value for my domain that's greater than 0. So the only solution here is that +5 for number 4. So again, when you solve, make sure you check that your x values are going to be possible. The domain has to be greater than 0 for log functions.